This is Jennie Nielsen, the mother of my 3 children. In this video, I'm going to show you how she falsely accused me of neglect to CPS, and then I'll show you how her real neglect caused our 5-year-old son to get run over by a car at over 30 miles an hour. Apparently, she still goes by Jennie Gaylord, at least on Facebook. I don't know if she does legally or otherwise, but I don't think she should go by my name Gaylord anymore because she left me. She had married me in August of 2012 in the Idaho Falls Temple for time and for all eternity. That was her commitment to me and to God and to our children. But she betrayed us and broke those commitments and did it in an awful way, which started with this report she made to CPS. So here's the report. The primary allegation, neglect, which from the government website data, the majority of CPS reports are for neglect because it's kind of like a catch-all charge, and it can be easily abused. Like in the case of baby Cyrus, they accused the parents of medical neglect when the parents were trying to do everything they could for their son. So that's a bad example. That was horrible that they took Cyrus from the parents and didn't want to give him back. But over 80% of CPS reports are actually found unsubstantiated, and this one was also found unsubstantiated. For whatever reason, they decided not to pursue this. Incident date unknown, yes. So if there was some incident of neglect, they don't even know what day it happened. Caseworker Kendra Hutton. So you can see, just one random day I was at home, and these people, there's a knock at the door, and then I see Jennie go out front, and so I hurried and sent a message on Telegram to some of my friends in the People's Rights Network, and then I went outside, got my body camera going, and went out front. I posted this whole interaction on this YouTube channel back in 2021 if you want to see the whole thing. But in short, these 2 Nampa police officers were Otto and King. Otto starts talking to me, and so I told him, "You're not welcome on my property. I'm asking you to leave." And he says, "Since we're here with health and welfare, we're allowed to stay on your property." And you can see I throw my hands in the air, and I'm just like, "No, I'm asking you to leave." I called to the lady, "Ma'am, you're not welcome here. Please get off my property." But they just didn't even listen. They just kept talking, and then, which they're trespassing at that point, which tells me they don't care about my rights. They think they own my children and they own my property and, and me or whatever. It's anyway, luckily no one got hurt, but I think this is pretty creepy. But as you can see in this report, actually Jennie was telling them that she had concerns that I had legal charges, and she feared that there would be a, quote, shootout if police go to the home. And then part of that's redacted, says, with father's mental health in decline. So she's got this narrative that she diagnosed me with some mental illness somehow, and she's telling them that I'm crazy. And then firearms in the home. Father seen on Google going after law enforcement. Okay, law enforcement went after my friends in front of the Ada County Courthouse, and I published some videos about that. Is that what they're talking about? But what they did was wrong. Arresting people for failure to appear because they don't have a mask on, that's wrong. Okay, fears a shootout if law enforcement goes to home. So if she's afraid that there's going to be a shootout if they come to my home, why is she bringing them to my home? Unless she wanted a shootout, and if in that case, why is she going to do that with our children right there? Have you seen how cops are with their crossfire? Sometimes they shoot each other, or they shoot some random person, or they might have shot our children. Why are you bringing them to the home? And they're almost standing between me and my children. That's foolish. She wants our children to sit and watch them kill me, or what? this was a bad idea. Luckily nothing happened. I don't want to hurt any police officer or anyone. I don't want them to hurt me. I don't have any, like, I don't want to hurt Jennie. I know, like, she's kind of put herself, and the state has put themselves at war against me, but, like, I just want them to take their boot off my neck. I don't want to hurt any of them. I want the best for Jennie. I'm not trying to, like, take more custody time than her, anything like that. I respect her right as their parent too, and want them to be able to stay close to both parents as much as possible. I think it would be best if we hadn't divorced, or that if we got back together, but I've offered her that, but she's like, never talk to me about that again. I'm never getting back together with you. So it's like, I don't know, whatever. So she's had opportunities to, like, renew our covenants and do what's best for our children, but she won't do it. She's insistent that they be raised by the state. She got her unrighteous divorce decree, and now I'm in an awful situation with that, where if I don't submit to it, I can, again, the cops could take my license away, keep arresting me. If I resist, they'll kill me, of course. So I don't know why she believes so strong in the state, like, but is she using the state here, or is the state using her, or is Satan using them both, or are they just all in bed together? But either way, this is wrong. I think Jennie is choosing to be dishonest and hypocritical, and this agenda is wicked. It's not best for our children, and I don't see how God would be pleased with this. Okay. Anyway, here's the report. So this is what Jennie reported to the social worker. Physical abuse? No kind of physical abuse. Neglect? Says yes. But different categories. Medical neglect? No. Death and neglect? No. Basic needs? Food, clothing, shelter? No. Health and safety hazard? Yes. So what's the health and safety hazard? The only thing I can think of is, like, in this report she says that I tried to take off my son's belly button and his toe with a pair of pliers, which that's ridiculous, of course. But I think I know what she was doing. Like, she had actually she wanted to take our children, back in July, wanted to take our children on a trip to Southeast Idaho to visit some family and friends and cousins or whatever. So I was like, okay. But I think while she's out of town, she ended up staying for a month, and must have been scheming and planning a way, to get out of the marriage and take control of the children without really telling me. So I guess with her gone for that long a time, maybe I should have caught on or whatever, but I just didn't expect that. But yeah, she comes back at the beginning of August and sets up this situation trying to provoke me, I think, where she's keeping Elias in our bed. Normally she would take Elias and put him to bed, because just from the beginning of our marriage, our children never slept in our bed with us, which, whatever, that's what we decided to do. And I worked as a cabling technician, and I had to be at work at 7 a.m. So yeah, I would go to bed. So that's part of the reason why I don't want them waking me up all night or whatever, so I can keep working to provide for our family. It's so she knew she could make me mad by keeping Elias in our bed, or that's what she thought. But I didn't respond by getting mad. I made a silly joke, and then she twists it around to make it into a threat of violence or something, which it's not. I often would joke to lighten things up with my children, and that's obviously such an extreme thing. It's not serious. This reminds me of Jennie talking about butting heads with our son. When we were talking about homeschool, she had a hard time teaching our oldest son, so she said she'd butt heads with him. So should I have called CPS and been she admitted that she is bashing her head into my son's head. This is physical abuse. So what are you going to do? Are you going to arrest her? She had actually asked the social worker if they were going to arrest me. So I think she expected, like, I was at least they were going to try to arrest me. And then she didn't know if that would cause a shootout she wanted to get arrested or charges against me, so for her advantage to take control of the children. So she's saying she butts heads. Should I have, made a big stink about that? And no, that would be ridiculous. But that's what she's doing to me. She's like twisting. Obviously, we know what she means by butting heads. Like, mental health care neglect, no. Failure to protect, yes. Now this one I'm really confused about. Was someone attacking our children? I just sat there and watched, or what? Like, what are these accusations? Where's this coming from? But whatever. Like, I guess in a way, if I failed to protect them, it was from Jennie and the state working together to, with that protection order. I didn't see him for over 6 months. Couldn't see him or even call him on the phone, or I'd get arrested or whatever. Like. So I failed that there alone is child abuse, doing that kind of separation. I was always close to my children, had a good bond with them, good connection with each one of them. They all trust me. After the 6 months, they still, she wasn't able to really alienate me and turn them totally against me or make them fear me like she wanted to. So they just still trusted me, and they still do. And I don't abuse them. I try to take care of them. I love my children. Like, if you want me to support my children more, just give them to me half the time. Like, that's the right way to go about this. Get your boot off my neck. Quit trying to threaten me with, now I have to live with this jail time over me and I can't go on with my life because you want the children raised by the state. It's just wrong. It's not best for our children. It's not what God would want. Okay, failure to supervise, no. Educational neglect, no. Sexual abuse, no. Human trafficking, no. Abandonment, no. So this gives a little bit more of just ridiculous, but the reasons why Jennie's says I'm neglected my children. The worker inquired if blank's safe in the home, and so this report I didn't get till later. I had to do a notarized affidavit just to get this, and they redacted it, but I could tell it's her. But so I just have to guess what the redacted parts are. So that she says Garth had a traumatic brain injury, TBI, approximately 5 years ago. Ever since he had that and became involved in human rights, she has felt uneasy and expressed concerns with Garth's extreme views and reported it consumes his time. How do extreme views consume someone's time? Anyways, am I reading the Book of Mormon too much or what? And I did get involved in the People's Rights Network to unite with neighbors to defend our rights, which I think was right. Where sometimes people in power abuse their power. Throughout history, governments have gone beyond the proper role of, the Declaration of Independence defines the role of government, and I think they're right that all people are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, which including life, liberty, and property. And so their only role is to assist individuals in securing those rights. And that doesn't mean we need taxation or whatever. What the government has become is not what it was meant to be. It's working opposite of that. And so you have to keep a check on that. Otherwise, our children, there's a lot of this is for our children so they can live free, because liberty is the best condition where there's advancement and innovation and prosperity and just development. That's God's plan for us to be free so we can develop our character, become more like Him, and be accountable for our own sins. Let's see. So she doesn't trust me around him because there's so much neglect. What do you mean so much neglect? This is a lie. And I'll show you what some neglect from her. When discussing what the concerns were, she reported, "Sometimes when driving home from church, Garth does not have them get into their seats or buckle their seat belts." Oh, so that's all you got? Like, the church is like right down the street from our house, so like that's the neglect you're talking about? They never got hurt from that or whatever. Anyway, so blank denied Garth being abusive towards blank. So I don't know if that's Jennie denied us Garth being abusive towards children or towards her, but it's kind of interesting. So the RP, or Jennie, reporting party, reports no physical abuse, but there is neglect and emotional abuse, which I don't know what she means, what she's talking about with emotional abuse, but obviously CPS found this to be unsubstantiated, insufficient evidence. But so now I'll show you real evidence, like actual damage to our children. Our son, it's a miracle. It's perhaps a miracle that he's even still alive, and how he recovered. I would attribute to the power of God, because, like, I guess this boy's mission wasn't done. It's a special boy. He always had a good memory, and so even though he was injured so bad, he still has a good memory, and he's able to run and jump and play and do the normal things. Just a healthy and strong boy. Anyway, but this accident happened in front of our home in Nampa, where I was working out of town, and while I'm on my way back into town, I get a call from Jennie, and she gives me this account that she had gone across the street to help a neighbor mow their lawn because they're having medical issues, and left the 3 children on the other side of the street at our home unattended. And then our son, oldest son Elias, went outside and tried running across the street to get to his mother, and she says she watched him get hit by this car that didn't even really slow down. It's a busy street connecting like North Side and Midland. He just got slammed by this car, just messed him up bad. It's just so shocking. He had fractured skull, bleeding and swelling on the brain. He had cuts and road rash everywhere. Staples all over the place. He had this tube in his lung because his ribs were broken and his lung was deflated. He had a fractured hip, fractured leg. He got hit hard and hit the road hard. So yeah, this is a real example of neglect, but when Jennie told me about this, I wasn't real harsh on her. It's like, this was a mistake, but it's like, I don't think she wanted this to happen to our son, of course. Like, I don't believe that. I think she does love her children, and this, just like, please don't cross that street again without our children. And as far as I know, she never did, and they never got hit by a car again. So I didn't need to be like calling CPS or trying to get her put in jail or separated from our children. Like that, what good would that have done? I want her to be their mother. Like, she gave birth to them. Like, God kind of gave her that authority, and I shouldn't be trying to interfere with that, even though she made a mistake. Like, people make mistakes. But I just don't think I should be so limited. Like, I didn't do anything to deserve all this. Like, why is she getting rewarded for divorcing me? Like, obviously, of course, I think she went to the States as a legal strategy to get control, but also, like, in a social way, she wanted to be able to do it in a way where she still looks good. Like, or she's a victim, like that she's just doing what she had to do to protect children from me. So she tells everyone I was abusive by neglect or whatever. But you can see her neglect actually cause harm. Like, but yeah. So this, because if she had just like tried to leave me and just I don't like Garth, that's not really a good reason. Like, and people wouldn't really approve of that. But so she was able to do this and get help from people by saying that I was abusing children, and she continues to say that. So I just put this out there. I would like her to quit telling people that I'm abusive, quit telling the government, the church, like come out and tell the truth. Is what should happen to make this right. Quit telling all my children that things about me that aren't true, trying to make them afraid of me, because that's not working. But and take your boot off my neck with this divorce decree. You could at any time she could what do you call it, agree to just have 50-50 custody, and then while they're with me they don't have to be in state custody. Like this government state plan isn't so important. And this is where like I filed stuff in this case, and including to set aside the default judgment, but they don't listen to my filing, so I'm done filing with the court, and I'm never going to win, because no matter how much money I pay lawyers, they're always going to say it's best interest of the children to be raised in state custody, so at these public schools, prisons, or whatever. But this isn't right. Jennie has a problem with dishonesty. She should have this power taken from her, because she's just using it relentlessly. All she ever says, she'll never talk to me, listen to anything I say. I have no say about what our children's education or health or anything. She's just taking full control, won't listen to anything I say, and just says, decree, decree, go talk to a judge, because she knows no judge is ever going to care what I say. I could spend millions of dollars and nothing would come of it.